We have a treat today. I'm so excited to introduce our community to Hamza Najam, certified breathwork teacher and nationally certified recovery coach. Holds a certification in mindfulness-based stress reduction. We should mention this with years of experience helping individuals break free from alcohol dependence. Hamza combines breathwork, neuroscience, personal transformation strategies to guide his clients toward lasting change. And I'm just going to emphasize that last word, lasting, because that's so important when we put in the work. We want to know that it's going to be sustainable. Welcome, Hamza. How are you?
I am great, Lindsay. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction, and thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, I'm thrilled to have you. We're just going to dive right in today because I think you have so
Let's do
much to
it.
offer this community. Yes, and we will be. I'm going to tell our listeners now. Yes, we're talking about alcohol for a big piece of this, but as you listen, you really can transfer this over into, like you said, you can use this breath work for all facets of life, and I'll let you go into that. But kind of give us your background story to start and how you even came into this space.
Wow, where do I even begin? I mean, I am 37 now. I started when I was young, like most of your audience, and it started off just going out for fun and drinks and all that. Towards the end of university, as life started to happen, paying rent and being on your own and getting a job and all that, I noticed that it was becoming more than just fun. Towards the later years, I finally stopped drinking when I was 32. So until that point, it had escalated ever so slowly to a point where I was drinking daily. I was using it to hide my pain, to mask my emotions, to escape my reality. Of course, this is all with hindsight. At the time, I didn't know why I was doing it. It was just happening. And I tried AA. I went to several meetings. I tried therapy. I tried smart recovery. I read books, which I still have. And they would work a couple of weeks here or there, or a few months even. I went 9 months one time, but nothing really worked until something did. And that something was I read a book by Dr. Joe Dispenza called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. In there, it sort of flipped a switch for me. And that flip was to shift all the focus inward. There's nothing for you outside, right? So that's essentially the tipping point. And that's when I got introduced to meditation. In that book, there's a very specific meditation geared towards changing behavior. So those deeply ingrained behaviors that you're unable to change. So this was one of those things for me, along with I had terrible eating habits and very poor self-care habits and everything else. There was a point in my life where I wanted a family, I wanted kids around like 26, 27. That's when I started thinking along those terms, but it was far, far from possible at that time. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like the way I looked. You can definitely say I was depressed. I was anxious all the time, and just my nervous system was all wound up. And again, these are all things that I found out after. But that's where I was. And I knew always that there is going to be a way out. There's going to be a different life at some point. And that's when I started doing the meditation, shifting my focus inward. That's when it opened up an entire world to me, and that led to mindfulness-based stress reduction techniques, which then led to NLP, which then led to recovery coaching, which then led to breathwork certification, and this is now I sandwiched 5 years of evolution in just a few minutes.
You know what I think's interesting is that you were quickly able to say, I knew there was recovery for me, or I knew there was a different way and path. Well, I don't think everybody feels that way. Like, I think some individuals have already taken themselves off that I'm going to be okay at some point realm. Were you always able to say that?
Not always, not always. There was a period where I had given up hope. That period was towards my late 20s when I was approaching 30. Oh my God, life is going to end. Anyways,
Okay.
that was a long time ago. But during those years, it really did feel like I had tried everything. I had gone to so many AA meetings, and I would always think to myself that, okay, there's people here who've been sober for 10 years and yet they're so miserable. Like, I don't want that for myself. So
Yeah.
I don't understand how this is actually helping. Is it just about not drinking? I don't think so. So I just knew there was a voice inside of me that said, keep going, don't give up, keep trying. So that's why on the Mondays and the Tuesdays, Tuesdays on long weekends, Mondays on regular weekends, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try it again. Today I'm not drinking again. Today I'm not drinking. Today I'm not. But by the time evening rolls around, I'm sure many of you guys who are listening who may relate to this will know exactly what I'm talking about, which is by the time evening rolls around, you don't care about what you said in the morning. It's just what you want in that moment. And that's what I would struggle with as well.
Absolutely. And this is where, listeners, I was saying that we can transfer this over because I feel like if somebody's doing any binging type behavior, you wake up in the morning and you feel the same way. Like, I'm not going to do that again tonight. That's going to be different until nighttime rolls around. And that can just even be stress eating. It can even be like, I'm going to actually go to the gym today until you don't when the evening rolls around. So,
Exactly.
this type of behavior. And then I also want to highlight what you said when you were going to the AA meetings and you felt like, okay, I've seen these people change, but they're still not happy. So what is the difference that's happening within your journey? And I think it's the first time when I started listening to some other drink less lifestyle type podcasts where I finally was like, oh, this makes so much more sense. These people are not saying it's all or nothing. And you might be, and this will be interesting to get your take, but it was like more about the work that had to be done of why are you doing it in the first place?
Exactly. The major difference between what I'm doing now and how I changed my life versus some of the methods that are available that are still there is that I focus on healing. I focus on what it is that makes you want to stress eat or to binge eat or drink or spend hundreds of dollars on Amazon just on a whim when you know that rent is coming up and then you regret those decisions. Same thing with weed, same thing with gambling. Really, if you think about it,
Mhm.
all of those habits are rooted in either escapism. My life is too hard. Things are too stressful. Oh, I need this. If I don't do this, then what else will I do? I deserve this. I work so hard. All of these things are rooted in not being enough.
Mhm.
What I have today is not enough, and therefore I need more.
That's
I
so
need to
good.
do
Yeah.
more. Therein lies the biggest conundrum.
Mm.
There's nothing more than you need other than this moment right here. And we have to adjust our mindset towards thinking in that way. Whereas in traditional programs, what I found was alcohol is the devil. Just don't drink. Just as long as you don't drink, you'll be okay. But you know what? The moment you stop drinking, that's when the real work actually starts. Because until then, all you've done is not drink. You haven't healed
You've
from anything.
masked, you've muted. Yes. Right. And to your
Swept
point,
it
the
under
real
the
work.
rug like you
Mhm.
were the emotions that you were drinking to drown in the first place. So how is this really any different? Of course, your body will heal. Yeah, not consuming alcohol is always better than consuming alcohol, but for how long? If you're living your days fantasizing about the drink, looking at people online and saying, if they can do it, why can't I? Your mind is already in the wrong place. Your energy is going in the wrong place, right?
Yeah, and if we haven't done the work, I've seen this through clients and patients in the past, that we just transfer it. If it was alcohol and then that's taken away, then something else pops up, like the gambling or the online shopping or the, so we just transfer one thing to the next versus peeling back the onion layers and working through and unpacking each little level that needs to see change. So
Absolutely.
keep going. This is so interesting because you talk about stress reduction too. Like you really pull in the nervous system, stress reduction. Give us the whole package that's around this. What's happening with
So,
your work here?
so basically, all the experiences that we ever have, every single one of them, they live inside us. There's always an image of the lived experience. I'm talking about memories that we have, and then there's an emotional charge attached to that image. That emotional charge lives forever. So, how many times have you guys revisited something, good or bad, and the associated emotion suddenly is present in your body, right? So, when we look at stress, we, of course, we have a nervous system. It has two sides, sympathetic, parasympathetic. Sympathetic is fight or flight, parasympathetic is rest and digest. What ends up happening is over time, based on our behavior, oh, I had a long day, let me have a beer. Okay, that's how it starts. That then culminates into I'm going through a divorce and I just have to drink all day to hide this pain, otherwise I can't function, I don't want to feel it, right? Two different extremes. we condition ourselves over time, over the years, to respond to stress and the physiological response in our body of stress when our body feels those things happening, like our chest tightening, our breathing getting shallower, heartbeat getting faster, your fist clenching a little bit. These are all symptoms of the sympathetic nervous system being switched on. Now, a lot of us don't know how to turn this off. And the reason for that is the parasympathetic nervous system is connected to our organs. The sympathetic nervous system is connected to our spine. So the spine, since all the data is going up and down the spine, we immobilize quickly. So the fight or flight switch is on real fast before you even know it. It just takes 10 to 15 minutes for the rest and digest to take place. So we turn on our stress response due to something. Let's say bills are piling up. Let's say stuff's happening at work and you're not sure what's going to happen, having issues with your children. God knows, as a parent, any parent would know that pain, that struggle. And what ends up happening is because we don't turn it off and we often just use alcohol to just bury it all, it doesn't get resolved. What happens when it doesn't get resolved? It stays in your body. What happens when it stays in your body? It's only a matter of time before it shows its ugly head again. So what we end up doing is we end up keeping ourselves in this perpetual state of sympathetic nervous system just being specifically when we are drinking, everything is all jumbled up. The drinking is releasing all these hormones in your head, the dopamine, the GABA, serotonin, things are getting all mixed up. Plus you have all these emotions. It's just a very murky picture. The end result, we keep reliving the same thing, the same stress, the same trauma, the same thing over and over and over and over again without even realizing it. And that's where the nervous system healing comes in. That's where the nervous system regulation comes in. And that's where breathwork comes in. Because your breath portal is directly connected to your nervous system. And within our nervous system, there's 5 functions: behavior, thoughts and feelings, sensation, perception. These 5 things. Sensation, completely non-negotiable. If I light a fire, I will feel the heat. Sensation, no question. Perception, if I ask you, hey, what do the bottom of your feet feel like right now? What just happened?
Hmm.
Your mind went towards the bottom of your feet. Well, what that feels like. But you weren't there before, but you are now. That's your perception. You can control this. This is important. Thoughts and feelings are like pop-ups. Come and go, come and go, come and go. No rhyme or reason, most times. Then there's behavior. That's the most in your control. That's the most negotiable. You can use your brain to force your body to do something, especially when you don't want to do it. And that also is important because when we lead with behavior, so in simple words, let's say every fiber of your being is saying, oh, I really want to have a beer. Now you're feeling it. The thought and feeling loop is on. You're feeling it. You can almost taste it. But the only thing that's in your control, the thoughts and feelings will come, but the only thing is in your behavior. You can choose to still not have that drink or change your environment or do another action. And it's in doing so, we start the process of generating new neural networks. So a neural network is neurons that fire together, they wire together. That's Hebb's law. Sir Donald Hebb, he's the, I guess, founder of neurophysiology. Anyways, he explained this method. So in other words, right now you have a complex system of hundreds, maybe thousands of networks that are all designed to do one thing. And in your life, if you're someone who's drinking heavily, all those roads are basically leading towards how you can justify having a drink. The work that we're now doing is building new networks. And the easiest way to do that is with behavior. In other words, you can think about quitting drinking all you want. You can think about joining a gym all you want. But until the steps get taken, nothing is happening. So it's that concept that we utilize. That the same way you built the habit to drink at 25,000 different junctures in your life, the same way you can build new habits that fall back on recognizing the symptoms, that fall back on using your breath to relax your nervous system. Because if we break it down, I'll give you a very clear example. You come home from work and you want to have a drink. You don't know why. It's just what you've always done, right? And you tell yourself, but that's what I've always done. That's what else am I going to do, right? That's what you're telling yourself at the surface level. Now, there is a thing called the 7 why exercise. There are 7 layers to our subconscious, all the way down. So we have to get to the subconscious. So when I learned this for myself, I tried this for myself and I was like, okay, what is this? Why do I want to have a drink so badly right now? Why? Well, I finished work. That's it. I'm done. So what else is there to do? Huh. What is it about finishing work and not having anything else to do makes you want to drink? Well, I guess I'm just really bored. Okay. What about being bored makes you want to drink? Yeah. I guess I just don't really like being alone. Why? Well, because then all these weird thoughts come up in my head and I don't like thinking that. Why? See, now you're getting to the point. And then I had the realization, it dawned on me that, wait a second, like, I hate my life. I know what I've done to it, and I know what it's going to take to solve it. And of course, I don't want to think about it. So of course, that's why I want to have a drink. And when I had that realization that I think there's something wrong with me if I'm not out and socializing, if I don't have plans, or if I'm just sitting here by myself or whatever, it's all a front to protect me from the real thing inside, which is I have deep regrets about what happened to my life so far. I had an idea of where I would be, and I'm far away from that. And there it is. So that's how I discovered my first root cause. And just like that, I got a whole list of root causes that, okay, these are the things that are actually making me want to drink. Once you have that, things get easier. Then you're fighting an enemy you can see. Because when you're fighting your subconscious, you're fighting someone you cannot see. And it's always the punch that you don't see coming that knocks you out, right?
Yeah, no, that's so good. Label off your root causes again, and just for our listeners' purposes, like if you're not used to hearing this kind of talk, like I heard bored out of you, I heard disappointed. I'm sure you can rattle them off. What
Oh,
else did you
yeah.
find?
So root causes were deep dissatisfaction with my life, very low self-confidence, a very bad stress response, which was fully looped in drinking, boredom, which ultimately was masking painful feelings. So all the painful emotions that I had, I was running from them. And the worst part is I would drink, do something stupid, which would then add to the list of problems. And then the next day, now I have a bigger bag full of problems. And that would repeat itself over and over. From what I've worked with now, close to maybe 1,000 people in the last 4 years that I've been doing this. And look, everybody is unique. Everybody has a unique set of neurological patterns that they follow, i.e., their reality and their life. So I'm not saying we can put everybody in one box. But if we were to do that, if we
But we'll do
were
it.
to if we were to
Mm.
take 1,000 people and delineate, okay, what are the core things? Stress, the biggest one. Just take a look at what's happening in our world right now. Everywhere you look, there is uncertainty, and uncertainty shakes foundations. There is war, there is famine, there is Donald Trump doing all sorts of things, and half the people are like, whoa, what's happening? The other half is like, okay, cool. And there's all this uncertainty. There's all this negativity that we all have to live in addition to inflation, jobs, work, home, rising costs, etc., 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 etc. Modern life is designed by design to stress you out to the point where you need to escape. And they're all there waiting for you. Alcohol, weed, drugs. What do you want? What's your flavor? We got it for you,
Mhm.
right? Anything to keep you from shifting your focus inward so you can realize what's really happening. But no. And that is the number one thing, stress, escaping our realities, holding on to painful emotions, which are usually shame, guilt, regret, depression, bigger pain, loss of mom, dad, somebody close to you, divorce, loss of a child even. I mean, I hope to God nobody has to go through any of those things. But again, painful emotions seem to be at one root cause, stress, anxiety, that seems to be another, loneliness, especially now. COVID-induced loneliness was a huge thing for people. So these are the root causes that I found. By and large, if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you've had your dance with these things.
I 100% agree, and thank you for labeling these off because the super insightful crowd knows a lot of this already, or they've done the research, they've heard it, they're hearing it again. It's just really making them know, like, yes, this is also important. There is still a huge population that is running at the speed of light when they haven't really taken the time to understand this, ask why till you cry, to do the why practice like you've done and just dig deep. For some, it might feel a little woo-woo, even that we're talking neurological pathways and breath work. So, kind of take us through, we haven't even gotten to the breath work part yet, but how you take the super science brained person and continue to say, like, this is not woo woo, this is all science based derived. Like, bring everybody along on this path with you.
Everybody has a nervous system. Everybody has access to their breath. Everybody has the ability to pause and shift their focus inward. So we're all in, whether it doesn't matter what kind of ailment you have, whether it's drinking, whether it's like food addiction, whether it is any kind of addiction, meaning any kind of behavior that you are aware of that, hey, this is causing problems in my life, but you continue to do it anyway. What you are doing in each and every one of those scenarios is you are effectively recognizing that something in here doesn't feel good and you want to change it right away. And your brain knows, yes, I know just the thing. We've used it for years. Let's go.
Works every time.
Works every time, right?
Mhm.
And that is that predictability that our brain craves so much. It feels safe. You know what's going to happen. And then there's, of course, that mindset, well, I'm only hurting myself, so who cares? You have to care. It starts with you, right? Like self-love and the lack thereof, it is, and I mean, I had it too, so I can't really blame people, but this is just the world that we're all raised in. Our focus is outward on material things, on, well, with the advancement of social media as well. But coming back to everybody, I didn't know any of this at all when I got started. In fact, I was a die-hard atheist. I thought that that was it. But the only thing you need to do to convince yourself and anybody else is practice. Try it. See what it does for you. I have people in my program that are in their 50s that have never meditated a minute in their life before, that haven't even heard of breathwork before. And on our initial call, they tell me, like, I don't think this is going to work. I've been breathing my whole life. Like that joke, I get that so much. But okay, but you haven't been breathing with intention. You've been
Yes.
breathing to keep yourself alive automatically. You're not
Mhm.
consciously breathing. Your system is doing that job for you. So let's put some intention behind it. Let's use our frontal lobe to create the reality you want. Now that's another thing with what I teach. It's the focus is on identifying exactly what you want, clear intention, adding some elevated emotions to it, and helping you create that version of yourself. And all it takes for any skeptic is to notice it work one time, because
Mhm.
that's enough. And then everything else changes. And then you're like, all right, yes, let's see.
Yes.
And besides, for those of you who say, but I like the buzz, but I like that initial feeling,
Mhm.
what do I do about that? You've never tried strong breathwork before, because that is the kind of stuff that will naturally make you high.
Mhm.
And you will stay in that relaxed, floaty, dreamy place for a long time. So if that's the fix you're craving, there is another way to get it.
Yes, and do you always feel like people, like you said, until they witness it, until they see it, they just have to have some faith in your process or in the process, and they will get to that other side, but they have to just hang in there, right?
They, they, I mean, it's the practice, right? Because the moment you start doing breath work, you feel how good it can feel. So
Mhm.
that tells your brain that, wait a minute, I don't need to resort to all these other substances to feel good in my body. Because that's
Mhm.
ultimately, because that's something that we chase, right? It's, even if it's just that when we're thinking about drinking, we're always thinking about the first drink. We don't typically think about the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth,
Mhm.
or however many after that. And that's done for a reason as well. The fantasy, the desire, that initial fantasy of that first few sips, because that's kind of where it ends, and our mind blocks the everything that happens afterward. Whether you're on day one, whether you've been at it for a while, whether you're sober curious and wondering, hey, maybe I should try and see what it feels like. All I can tell you is there is enough science and research out there now proven that even one drink a day is bad for you. It's always better to be alcohol free than to consume alcohol. Now, these are extremes. Earlier, you asked me what my take was on the all or nothing approach. So let's talk about that. Look, all or nothing is up to you. That's not what I'm here for. I just want you to make that choice. I don't want you to be compelled. I don't want you to be dependent. I don't want you to feel like you're powerless. I just want you to choose. And if you join, let's say you join my program, it's a year long, so it's not like it's a quick thing. The first 3, 4 months, 6 months, yes. While you're working on yourself, yes. No drinking. That's like, it's important to not drink during that time so you can not cloud your judgment and really see your progress, because your thoughts and feelings, they all start to change. But down the road, if you have healed from the real root causes, you can choose. I have several members who were drinking daily, 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 and crazy amounts, and now they drink maybe once a month, maybe once every 2, 3 weeks, one drink, and they're fine. What matters is, do you wake up with regret or shame or guilt, or do you wake up as if nothing happened? Because we're talking about the experience of your life. We're talking about the quality of your daily life, the quality of your thoughts, the quality of your experiences. Because ultimately, that's all we have. Short
Right.
80, 90 years, and then we're gone. Right? So that's my take on that. That a couple of weeks is not long enough. So I see many people who give it a nice break and say, okay, looks like I'm good to go. But the old patterns return very quickly. So again, the question is about healing, not how long you have been sober.
Mm. Yes, that's such a good statement. Agreed. And then just thinking through, because we're hearing breath work and we're hearing meditation, can you walk us through if we were your client coming through your doors, what that would look like?
So breathwork is a very large, broad topic, just like yoga. Now, within yoga, there's various modalities. The one I use is pranayama. Pranayama is a mixture of stretching, movement, breathwork, and meditation. So the reason why I like pranayama is because it's got everything. And what it will look like is there are strong exercises that are akin to hyperventilation, not exactly in a controlled, targeted way. And then there's gentle exercises. And we mix and match, combine all of them into 30 to 45-minute session, give or take, depending on what your style is. What it might look like for someone who walks into my program. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on understanding how things are set up in here. And for that, we need some clarity. To get clarity, we need to put a few days under our belts with no drinking so that the brain fog is lifted and we can actually think. The biggest thing people struggle with is craving. Evening time, weekend, out with friends, whatever it is. So the first thing you will learn is a protocol around how to stop your craving in your tracks. And I'll share that with you for your audience right now. The first step is we have to engage our frontal lobe to visualize. Remember how I was saying that we kind of always think about that first drink, but not really after that? So
Mhm.
go there. Go there in your mind. You're having a drink? Okay. What's going to happen when you have that first one? What then? Going to be another one? Okay. What then? Probably another one. Okay. What then? Probably another one. That in itself is enough to get you to pause for a second. Whoa, hold up. I feel like this is exactly what I've been trying not to do. That's going to happen. From there, I teach and you can learn this yourself as well. It's called Alanome Vilom. It's an alternate nostril breathing technique. It's taught by various teachers. Very, very basic practice. It has various levels. But what it is we simply block our right nostril, and you can try it too if you like. And
Mm.
what this is doing is it's soothing both hemispheres at the same time. So you take a deep inhale from this nostril that's open. Sorry, I have a cold. So anyway, switch the nostril and exhale. All the way, all the way, all the way until your belly is empty. And inhale again from the same nostril that's open. And then switch and exhale. So in, out, in. And that was one round. We do 15, give or take. If you want to increase the intensity, after every inhale, you can introduce a hold for about 3 or 4 seconds and then release. And that will increase the intensity.
Mm.
What this is doing is because both hemispheres are involved, it's going to lower the activity in your brain. So that nervous system elevator, oh, I guess we haven't talked about that. Anyway, your nervous system has various levels. Red is when you're fully switched on, panic mode. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Yellow is more like, okay, I have to now go in front of 1,000 people and give this speech, and I don't feel like I'm prepared. That's yellow. You have blue and green. Blue is the base when you're relaxed, calm, peaceful, chilling, sleeping, whatever. Green is when you're doing something you know well, reading newspaper, driving, whatever, right? So those are the various levels.
Mm.
When you're fighting a craving, the key word is fighting. Thought comes, you say yes, there's no fight, doesn't work. It's when you are trying to say no.
Mhm.
In that moment, what's happening is your nervous system is climbing up those elevators, those levels. So we use the alternate nostril breathing to bring the level of activity down in all areas of your brain, specifically the amygdala. Amygdala is where fear, worry, those kind of things originate. Once the activity lowers, remember, parasympathetic nervous system takes a little bit of time to activate instead of the sympathetic, which activates like this. So we do 10 to 15 rounds of that exercise, the one that I just showed you. Just repeat,
Mhm.
repeat, repeat until you feel like, oh, okay, I feel good, I feel calm, okay, it's fine, it's fine. That's when you do the 7Y exercise. Get
Mm.
right to the root, right then and there. Okay, in this situation, why is it that I want to have a drink? And this is how you derive your list of root causes. But mainly, this is how you ride the wave, the emotional wave. And all it takes is a few minutes, and everything that was happening inside you, it goes away. Now, it doesn't mean it can't come back, especially early on, but it does mean that in that moment, you won. And that registers in your head. I felt the craving, and I didn't do it. The birth of a new neural network emerges. And then it's repetition, repetition, repetition until that network gets strong. And we're talking maybe a few days. We're not talking months and months. So this is essentially the first step where you would start. You would learn a specific breathing routine to stop the craving so you can make it past day 2, 3, and make it all the way to 10, 15, 20 days. That's what I need to then engage the second part. So just as soon as you get the hang of this exercise, the next step is for you to fill out the alcohol-free avatar worksheet. That worksheet essentially allows you in detail to map out who you want to be. Physically, what changes you see. Mentally, what changes you see. Emotional health, financial health, spiritual health. We look at it all. And what I do is I then take that and convert it into a completely custom guided meditation for you. So it's all based on your goals. So it's only for
Mm.
you. Okay. And then what you're doing is by practicing that, so it's a full pranayama session that I record for you. You have a warm up, which is your movement. You have a strong exercise, which is moving all the blockages out of your nervous system. Then you have the gentle breathing to bring it all back together. And then you transition into a meditation, and then the visualization starts. What you're doing is you're rooting yourself, you're anchoring yourself in the version of you that you want to see, and you start your day with that. Makes it very different from waking up with a hangover and having to do it all over again.
Yes, that's so good. I love the way you're able to individualize this.
Yeah, because we're all different, right? Like that's why I said, like, let's
Yes.
not put everybody in a box, but if we were
Yeah.
to. So once you have that, then you're just practicing that in the morning, starting your day with that, going about your day, and by the time evening comes, you know what to do to ride that wave. So what you're doing here in this phase is you're learning how to regulate your nervous system and how to change the red and yellow state in real time down to a blue or green state. Because remember, those moments of weakness when the craving is high, that's what's happening in your nervous system, and that's what it is craving. Turn it off, turn it off. I don't want
Mm.
this, I don't like this. We just need another way to turn it off. It doesn't end there, of course. That's really step one and two. After that, we then shift our focus to the body, the practical side. So the practical side is where we do all the rewiring. So breathe, sober, reset. This is the reset. Here we look at 5 areas of your life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial. You will pick one new thing to do for each of these. Then we're going to go at it hard, boot camp style, 30 days. And in those 30 days, you're going to feel pain. You're going to suffer a little bit. You're going to say, what the hell? I hate this. I get it. like I'm not even joking here because it's not brutal. It's not easy either. Somewhere in between.
Mhm.
It's made for people with children. So just, don't freak out, please. But it's so you have to invest about an hour a day, hour to maybe 30 minutes a day, but broken in various chunks, not all in one go. But what we're doing is we're introducing a new set of habits. It takes a little bit of time for it to become second nature, but again, accountability, support, coaching, all of that is there, so it makes it very easy and fun. Actually, we do challenges and workshops all the time to work on specific areas. But that is your main challenge. Now that you've sorted out the brain, now it's time to sort out the body. We have to get you to a point where breathwork and meditation feels natural, where shifting your focus inward feels natural, right? And that comes with practice. So that's kind of how it starts. From there, we stay in that phase. That's the second phase. You stay there around 12 weeks. And then from there, it's about education. So then we focus on the neurophysiology of chakras. You guys must have heard about the chakras, I'm sure, but they exist in our body, actually. They are exactly where they're supposed to be. There's one over here, one over here, one over here, one, and all the way. But these are our nerve clusters. They found that there's nerves that are originating from various organs that all culminate into one singular little point, and that point is just about this big. And there's a lot of energy in those points because nerves are ending there. So that's like an end of a line that's connected to an organ, right? And they just so happen to be exactly where the chakras are. So we learn about that. We learn about the neuroscience of those things. And my aim is to prove with science that it's not just woo woo, it's real.
Back to that.
Yes. So
Yes.
that's my program. That's how it works.
This is a beautiful example of why programs are so nice because there is such a nice step-by-step laid out for you, and you've managed to individualize it, like we were just saying. There's a path, right? And then there's the if we find faith in that coach and that person to handhold us down the path, we don't have to know the end at that moment. It's
Yeah,
just you get to discover all the really neat wins along the way that start to become your proof for your success later on down the road.
absolutely. That's what it's about. It's about taking the first step. That
Hmm.
age-old cliche saying, journey of 1,000 steps starts with one.
Hmm.
So true.
You know, there's a reason why these cliches are out there, right? Because
Yeah,
it's real. Yes, I love
100%.
quotes, and I know other people don't. Like I think some people roll their eyes the second that something's stated, but it's
All
real and
good.
it's not sexy, it's not glamorous, it's not a quick fix, but
There's no
the
red or blue pill,
you
you
got
know?
it right. But the work's being done, and because the work's being done, you transform versus is just reverting back the second, like you said. If you just do a dry January, those people typically aren't like, oh, for the rest of my life now, I'm just floating through alcohol free. Yes, you can do it, but you haven't done the work to change, to transform.
100%. And one thing I want to say, and this is a human condition, we all do it, which might help a lot of you guys. So anytime we have to make any kind of decision, big or small, and pay attention to your mind when you are faced with any kind of decision you have to make. Duration, path, outcome. This is what our brain sees whenever we have to make a decision. How long is it going to take? How are we going to do this? And what do I get? Why am I doing this? So your duration, whenever it is, because think about it. If you say, I will never drink again, then the only time you will be successful is when you die. Because until then, right, you're still on the path, right? Our brain freezes when it's forever and the duration is too long or the path is too difficult
Mm.
or the outcome is not worth it. So we always, always forget about forever. Forever is too far away. Focus on the now because forever and the future, it's only the only place where it lives is in your head. Same thing goes for your past and everything you've been through so far. The only thing that's real is right now. And again, another cliche thing. I am a dad after all, so what can I do? But it's so true. Forget about all that. Just forget it. It's all noise, all noise, all noise. Just you want something, you know you can do it. Well, that's the big thing. Do you know you can do this, first of
Yeah.
all? If you feel like you're not there yet, then you have to get yourself to that point, whether it's by surrounding yourself with the right mindset people, whether it's reading the right content, whether it's whatever it is. Because that was the thing with me. Like, if I had given up and stayed there, nothing would have happened. I did give up many times, but then there was always necessity is the root of invention, right? So that's kind of how I got to this place. So please keep going. If there's even a tiny voice in your head that says, "Oh, I can do this. I know I can do this. I know it's hard. It's impossible, but I can do this." That's all you need to take the first step. And the hardest one is the first one. After that, it gets easier.
Agreed. And thank you for the encouragement for our listeners and everyone. The hope is there. No one's a lost cause. You just have to find that belief in yourself that you're worth taking the first step. It's so hard.
Absolutely.
So anyone who's going, oh, I could already see this path getting easier if I could just have somebody like you in their life, where's the best place to send them so they can keep following and understanding what you offer?
Absolutely. So I have my Instagram. It's Hamza Najam dot sobriety coaching. I'll share the handle with you. And you can follow me there on my bio. I have my link tree that has my masterclass. It's free, 38 minutes. It will explain basically what I just explained here, but if you wanted to share it with someone or really just to motivate yourself, because it will motivate you to take some kind of action.
Mm.
You can also book a call with me directly if you would like to have a consultation, talk about how your relationship with alcohol is configured and what it's leading to and what your goals are. I love working with parents. I love solving their problems only because if I help one parent, I know for a fact that all their kids are going to benefit. So that's
Mhm.
what's in it for me. And my website, breathesober.com. So you
Mhm.
can go ahead and check me out there. All the information about my program, how it works, what's included, everything is there. If you have questions, just message me on Instagram. I am an open book.
Oh, you're so good. Hamza, if you could wrap your arms around our community, if they heard nothing else, can you leave us with just that one last, like, hear this type thought?
How wooey do you want me to get?
Go for it.
As wooey as I want? All right.
Yep. No limits.
You will not believe me when I tell you this. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But each one of us are eternal beings in a spirit realm that incarnated here to have a good time. What that good time is all the emotions, because none of this stuff exists over there. Okay? You're here for a small time, and all you have is time. That's it. All this extra man-made stuff, like I'm talking the housing market, I'm talking inflation, all this stuff. This is all nonsense. And you're probably thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? But you will come to this realization at one point is that all of you guys are miracles. Every single one of you guys. One in a trillion chance for the sperm to fertilize the egg that turned you into who you are today. You chose to incarnate on this planet at this time. You chose your parents. You chose your soul path. You have a contract. So all the suffering that you might be going through, your soul wants to learn it. Take it with a grain of salt. Okay. And in order to change your life, you don't need anything other than shifting your internal energy towards the energy of gratitude. If nothing else, just be thankful for being alive. Just be thankful for what you do have. If you don't have a lot, that's okay. There's somebody out there with even less than you. But the question is, the rich people, not monetarily rich, I'm talking inside. There's a reason why I'm wearing this shirt today. That's your
Mm.
brain, right? Please, please, please stop wasting your time running around in this weird 3D world. It's all noise. You want to change your life? All it takes is for you to raise your vibration. And how you raise your vibration is with practicing gratitude. Something as simple as I'm thankful for this chair that I'm sitting on. And notice how that makes you feel. Same thing applies to your home, your life, your children, your husband, your wife, your dog, your neighbors, your mailman, everybody, everything. If you can just express gratitude for what you have, you will notice that most of your problems will just disappear. The second thing is, what can I tell you guys? There is an entire world inside you waiting to be discovered. If you've never gone there before, do it today. I have free breathwork videos on my Instagram. They're pinned, or just message me, I'll send it to you. Just practice, practice, try it. And you will notice that, wait a minute, I am a miracle and I can change and I will. And just see how, when you start shifting your focus and energy towards gratitude, everything changes. So I will leave it at that.
You're so good, Hamza. I feel like I totally put you on the spot and you rocked it. So thank you. Thank you for your time, your wisdom, and spending it with us today.
Thank you
And
for
join us
having me.
again in the future, all right?
All right. Thank you so much, Lindsay. It was a pleasure. And to everybody that's watching, guys, thank you for spending some of your time listening to what I have to say. I hope it resonated. And I hope to see you guys on my socials and interact with some of you guys. I'd love to do that.
Okay.